All right, welcome to another week of Pawn Boys. We are stoked for today's show. We are missing our other guy today, aren't we, Rhonda? Where is
We
he?
are.
Where is he today?
He is doing jerk stuff today.
Yeah, he's got some
Deserted
stuff
us.
he's doing, a business that he's doing with his shop today. So, and we're not wearing our hats out of respect for him, but
Yeah.
that's all right. So,
Because
hey,
you know I love wearing hats.
oh man, you are just a hat chick, is all I can.
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, so we are stoked for today's show. We're gonna have a jam-packed thing. Of course, Ponderdice coming, and we got some great items to show you. And we'd like to welcome our guest, Kevin Burns, joining us today. What's going on,
Hi,
dude?
everybody. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Where are you from? Where are you coming to us from?
I'm in New Jersey, southern New Jersey.
Oh, easy. Have you?
So-
Is that your stomping grounds? Is that where you grew up?
No, I've been here for just under 16 years now, but I stem from Southern California for the
Oh,
most
man.
part.
So you're
But also Arizona twice, Scottsdale, Arizona, 2 different times as a
How
kid.
is that? You know, I've known lots of people that have moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, and it's hard for them because the culture is so different. That's
Radical.
a huge adjustment coming from California or Arizona to the Northeast.
It's like almost like a foreign country, quite frankly.
How
You
do you
know,
like it there? Is that just kind of where your job took you, and that's where you're at, or
that's where
no
my work. That's where my work took me. Right.
no aspirations to come back this way?
Yes, actually, at some point, but you know, it's a function of the work that you do. So
Does the weather blow there?
you do. It takes a lot to get used to. This many years down the road, I'm a lot more used to it than I was when I first moved here. I tell you, it was a shock because it snows. For me, at least, I think it snows quite a bit. People who are local, they wave their hand. They don't think there's anything to it.
You know,
obviously get really cold.
the older I get, the less tolerant I get of the cold. And I'm telling you what, man, here in Utah, I love Utah. Utah's got all 4 seasons, but they have all 4 seasons, so you freeze your ass off during the winter.
Took us off.
So
Yeah.
I get you, man. I'm gonna retire to somewhere like Scottsdale, right?
There you go.
You know,
Yes,
that stuff there.
you
Or
just read, a little bit of it.
I don't like Cali because I don't like their politics, but and this isn't a political show, so I'm not going to go into that. But I don't know that I'd ever end up there. So you can't own a squirt gun in California without somebody knowing, and that's I don't roll that way. So
A lot of things have changed, and I don't know because I'm not there anymore. But a lot of everything has changed in that state. So I think that you guys there, at least you and Kirk in Utah, I think that's probably still a good state.
oh, you know what? I saw on the news the other day. I saw that Utah. They showed that you might get it. You might be interested in this, Rhonda. Utah is the happiest state in the nation.
I read that.
Did you read that?
I did. I saw that.
Yeah. But that's interesting. That's interesting. But I'm happy. I really am. I really am. But I just wish that I didn't feel like I was going to die and pass out in the snow, and they were going to find my frozen body or my unthawed body in the springtime. So I don't know. The older I get, the less tolerant of the cold I get. So hey, let's get right into this, man. So you are an engineer.
Yes.
Okay. So would you consider yourself a kind of a techie or a tech geek or a tech nerd?
Yes, pretty much.
Is that what got you into engineering? I've got buddies that are engineers, and they're so smart. I'm not smart enough to be something like that. I've got to be a pawn guy. So.
Well, in high school, I majored in woodshop, and what happened was we graduated, and they set up the stage where everybody walks up there, and you get that rolled up piece of paper that represents your diploma. And as I stepped off the stage, before my right foot could even hit the grass, which is the football field, a lightning bolt came out of the sky. And I can relate to your lightning bolt.
Yeah.
And before my foot even hit the ground, the voice said, "What are you going to do on Monday?" And, let's talk about an amygdala hijack. I mean, I was like fuzz brain walking all the way back to my seat, which was some 50 feet down the football field. But within 90 seconds, literally, and I never had thought about it prior to that 90-second period, about what I would do after I graduated, because that was like a reality that seemed to be, you know what I mean? It was always so far out there, whether you're in the 9th grade, the 10th grade, so forth, and I'd never taken any AP classes or anything like that. But in that 90 seconds,
This is high school you're talking about, right? This is graduating from high school, right? Is that what
high school?
Yeah, okay.
Well, because you're still in that state of mind, because you really have no clue about what you're going to do.
Right.
But then I said to myself, what's the most difficult thing I can do? Well, I have two choices. I can either go to work full time, because I was still living with my parents, or go to college. And I thought, well, I don't want to do the former, so I guess I'll run with the latter. Okay, what am I going to take? What's the hardest thing in college that I can possibly think of doing? Because whatever that is, if I can do that, I can do anything. And that's how I decided on engineering. Of course, that came to mind, engineering, but the next question was, what kind of engineering? Well, what do you know about? Well, I know how to rebuild my truck, the engine, the clutch, and so on and so forth, motorcycles, all that stuff, right? I did all the mechanical work, and I said, well, there you go, mechanical engineering it is, and 2 weeks later I was signed up in Algebra 2 in the local junior college called L.A. Pierce College, which is in Woodland Hills, California.
Get those basics out of the way, like the kind of the core stuff out of the way, right?
Yeah, so I stayed there for 2.5 years. Normally it would be 2 years, but that extra semester plus, kicking butt for the entire 2.5 year period, plus some summer schools in between, you get up to speed with where most students come in that are going to go into engineering. So it was like a big lessons learned for me that I didn't know anything about, because I had no influence from anybody. Certainly nobody in my family even went to college. So I had nobody to tap in.
So you were education. See, I come from a similar background. Education. My parents, I don't think either of them went to college. I think my dad went to a junior college, and he ended up being a cop or something. And we know that doesn't take much education to do that.
I think it does require a 4-year degree, though, doesn't it?
I love cops, but anyway, education wasn't emphasized like it is in some households, and man, my hat's off to you, because that is tough to kind of break the cycle on, man. I mean, if it's not kind of pounded into your brain all your life, and now you're at a point where you've got to decide, okay, what am I going to do, and not take an easy way out. So that to me is admirable. So.
And I mean, I never even had even one iota of thought about going to college, including right up to walking up to that stage. The thought didn't even cross my mind. Not even like, what are you going to do after you graduate? I mean, it's amazing how, and I only know that by looking backwards and wonder, how come I didn't, and it's purely boils down to lack of influence, by somebody who's been there, done that. So, obviously I'm really hip on education, and I went into a master's program for mechanical engineering at my university, California State University, Northridge.
Emphasize this as a mechanical engineer. Are you a mechanical engineer?
I'm a radar systems engineer now. So I switched gears because I wanted to do something even more challenging than anything I had done before.
So you are a tech geek on a grander scale.
A very grand scale, but not in the same way that a lot of people in the HOA land, I call it, the stuff we see, that's a whole other kind of thing. That's not the sort of thing that I specialize in, which is partly what attracted me to want to watch the HOAs when I stumbled onto it about 5 months ago, was, wow, look at what these people are doing. The whole social media thing and all that, and it was like, for me, it was very intriguing about if you watch all these different programs, including your program, and Kirk's program with Jerk's Bike Shop, and the list goes on of all my favorites over time. Then all the people that are involved in the viewing audience, in the peanut gallery, so to speak, and all of that going on, and everybody's here basically to learn whatever the different angles and things that they is relevant to them and their business and so forth, or they're just there because it's it's part of a community for one reason or another. You get some sort of fellowship out of it. No doubt. And most of the people that I've observed is specifically using it for their business, you're using it for your business, and I could see that same thing with Kirk, is that, man, this is a great way to get some advertisement out there, even if you only have a few X number of people in your audience. And even a show that's got 100 or 150, we know the names of the people, right? Mia and Ammon and so on and so forth. You go on down the line.
The reason why
those numbers are small.
Yeah, the reason why we don't is we're real selective about our audience. We'll kick anybody out that we don't want on here. Just saying, okay?
Yeah, excellent.
Speaking of the audience,
even though it's 15 or 30 or 150, those numbers are still relatively small, right? So there's where you get that leverage from how you take the show and chop it up and whatever with the different kind of videos you can do, stuff that like Scott Snowcroft does, that sort of thing. People who specialize. Everybody specializes in something, and that's what I like about this HOA land, is that incredible specialties.
Yeah, you got a wealth of knowledge. So
yeah, and so you could just go around and see how all the different people do things, and it's mind-boggling, quite frankly. I've been very impressed.
What were you going to say, Rhonda?
Oh, I was going to say, while we were talking about our selective audience, let's say hello to Jessica Maynard. She's here, and she's saying good to learn more about Kevin.
What's up, Jessica?
William is saying that he graduated from fire technology, and now he is a geek after he got hurt, and that was really his lightning bolt. And we're going to say hey to Carmen. And she says, from what I've seen of Utah, I know that I would love it, mainly because my great friends are there. You get my drift?
Oh, Carmen, you're awesome.
Don't we love her? How much do you love Carmen?
She's awesome.
She's fantastic.
Still don't know what she looks like, but one day we will.
She looks like a kitty cat.
I guess. So, hey, listen, Kevin, I've got I told you in the green room that I've got, aside from Pawn or Die, I've got a series of questions to ask you. And these are kind of along the lines of, you've heard Jeff Foxworthy and his, your redneck if, and he's got all these things on there. So
hey, watch it.
I use that in as endearing of.
You're saying that with love, okay.
Yeah, no. So anyway, my questions are, these are questions that I pose to people to find out whether you're a techie or a tech nerd or not. Okay. So, my first question is, okay, I got these written down here. My first question is, have you ever stayed overnight in front of an Apple store to get an iPhone?
No.
Okay. No. All right.
Good for you, Kevin.
And have never even owned an iPhone.
Even better.
You an Android guy?
No.
Oh. Okay.
I don't even use a cell phone.
Oh my gosh! Because my next question is have you ever had two cell phones on you at a time?
No, but I have used cell phones in the past on 3 different occasions. So it was totally 3 different periods, and I was one of the first that had. It was called a Diamond Tel, and this was in the early 90s, like I think 92. And it was the size of an eraser, and it was just the most awesome, thing, because nobody had. Prior to that was the brick. If you go back that far, I believe you remember the brick.
Oh, he goes back that far.
Which was ridiculous device, but it was a remote mobile phone.
Hey, Rhonda, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. And so when I saw this thing the size of an eraser, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And it cost like $1,000. I bought it because, this was just like, wow, I can actually talk on the phone while you're driving in the car. There was no laws or anything against it at the time, but I quickly realized I can't talk while I'm in the car. So, I was like self-regulated in terms of that ain't happening because, I don't even know how people do it. To be able to concentrate on your driving and,
Ryan, you're listening to that.
Be having a conversation.
I didn't hear anything. I don't know what he said. Okay, so no to the first 2 questions, and which poses the next question, and it's probably going to be a no as well. But see you guys. Have you ever, or do you own a cell phone caddy that's attached to your belt?
No.
I don't know. So far, I would say that you're not a tech nerd, but I got a couple other questions for you. Okay. Have you ever told a joke about algorithms or something like that nobody else got?
No, but of course I'm very familiar with algorithms.
Okay. Well, all right, man. You're You are out of the ordinary techie guy, okay? I don't think I need to ask you this last question because I think it'd probably be no as well, but you are not the classical tech guy, because a lot of these guys, I'm telling you this, stay overnight in front of the Apple store like crazy guys. I've never done that either. I don't think anything's worth that. Now, Rhonda might stay overnight in front of Hardee's if they were...
Okay, in my defense, they don't sell them anymore, so...
If they were coming out with a new smothered hash brown recipe, she might stay at Hardee's to get that first thing. But I don't think she would stay overnight for herself.
No.
No. It's not hash browns either?
I would get there early.
Yeah, of course, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So, but anyway, so you're not in the classical sense. You're not that guy, because a lot of those guys, I'm telling you, are crazy for the technology, crazy for the all the stuff. But you know what I did find out the other day? I actually did this, and this would kind of tell you about the times that we live in. I was reading a magazine, and I flip it to this page. It was a mountain bike magazine, of course, right? And it had this nice picture in it. And I actually did this. I'm not kidding you. And I'm going to tell you this on live in front of all these people. But I put my fingers down on the page to make the picture bigger. Okay? I'm just saying. I did that. I really did that. So it's just kind of indicative of the times that we live in. So well, cool. So Kevin, you're going back to work. You've been off for work for a little while, and you're going back to work, right?
Yes.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing. Okay.
So I would like some time off, but I guess I don't get it, because if I took some time off, it probably wouldn't work well here. But do you work like for top secret type stuff, or do you work for, is it a private company, or who do you work for?
I work and they pay me.
Okay, that's it. That's all we're going to get.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like the kind of stuff I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. I hate that line, by the way. So.
I don't use that line either, same as you.
Yeah. Hey, so what time is it, Rhonda?
Oh, let me tell you what time it is.
So now, Kevin, you've watched the show enough to know how this works, okay?
Yes.
All right. So I have handpicked 5 items, plus we have Jerk's junk, which we all look forward to every week. Okay.
It's always a blessing.
Yes. So there's 6 items in total. The last item, I don't know what it is. Okay. But I did hand select the other items. Okay. And
who picked that last item?
The jerk does.
Yeah. Because it's his junk, not ours. So, you're going to get 5,000 fictional pawn bucks to open up your store, and the rest is history, dude. You know how this works, okay? Let's see. Item number 1, Vanna.
And I met Vanna, by the way.
Awesome.
Well, she was filming a movie.
Oh, I didn't know she'd ever done a movie. That's something. This is a Honda generator.
That's not just any generator. This is a Honda 2000. This is the most desirable generator that there is right now. So,
how many cc's?
It's quiet. They're quiet. They're reliable. And you can actually, if you get 2 of these that are the same, there's a cord that you can use to put them together to parallel them. And instead of 2,000 watts, now you get a true 4,000 watts. And so they're a very, very sought-after generator. Man, made by Honda, and obviously Honda's got the name, you know, for quality and reliability and so forth. So, what would you, if that came into your shop, Mr. Burns, what would you buy that from the customer?
I'm going to say 250 buy and about 500 sell. Oh, is that okay? I see the picture of it now. That's not very big, is it? But it is a Honda. I'm still going to say 250 and 500.
250 and 500. You got that down, Rhonda?
No, because I don't have a pen.
I got
Do you
it.
have a pen? Hand me a pen.
I thought you were going to put that on the comment track.
Okay.
Honda. Okay, man.
Okay, that's one.
That's a you know, we'll go over this after, but I can tell you that's pretty good. Pretty good. So, item number 2, ma'am.
There you go, bike. This is a 26 GT prototype.
Yeah, this is a dirt jumper, and if you were watching, I don't know how much TV you watch, but yesterday they had a on NBC Sports, I think it was. They had guys doing I think it was the Red Bull challenge, but they use these type of bikes to go down these what they call, well, some of them are called pump tracks. These are called they're kind of a downhill course, but they involve jumps, and these guys are doing aerials and stuff. This is what this bike is. Now, I will tell you that I took this bike in and I kept it.
Oh.
Because I like bikes, and I really like this bike. So, anyway, GT 26-inch. It's loaded. It's got nice components on it. What would you...
Does it have shocks in the front and back?
Yeah, it's got the Rock Shock Recon. No, not in the back. These type of bikes are generally going to be a hardtail just because of what they're used for. So it's got the Rock Shock Recons on the front, which is a good shock. It's all like original GT stuff. It's a little bit older bike, but it's just in impeccable condition, and it's very, very well built. So.
Is it actually used for professional purposes, do you think?
You bet.
I mean, so it's ready to go for professional use?
You bet.
Okay, then that's going to be a really high quality bike.
Yes.
So you probably had to give up at least, I'm going to say, minimum of 400 for that bike. You might have got it for 300, but I'm going to go with 400 on the buy, and try to spin it for at least 700.
Okay.
So instead of a double on that one, a little less than a double.
Yeah. All right. Good job. Good job. Okay. Grace.
Okay, here you go. Antique fire nozzle.
What? Oh, yeah. This is a good one. Okay. So, a gentleman brought this into me the other day, and I thought it was very, very neat. And have you ever heard somebody say weird sells? Yeah. Weird stuff sells. Yeah, weird stuff sells. This I would classify in that weird, strange stuff. I think that this, like somebody that, like, there's a lot of guys out there, firemen and such, that collect like old firehouse artifacts and collectibles and stuff like that. Man, this would be a great part of their collection. So.
Can you bring up the picture of the? Because I have no idea what it is. I see it says antique fire. That's all I see. In the lower third.
Click on that. Click on that. On it. It should come up there.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Antique fire nozzle.
Yeah.
All right. Antique fire nozzle, and it's just that I guess that's like an end fitting.
Yeah.
And any idea of the year, the vintage?
You know, I had a guy that shops in here all the time look at that thing the other day. He's a fire chief out at I think out at the airport fire station, and he said that could be anywhere from 60 years old to 100 years old, and they're still using very similar things today. Of course, it's kind of updated looking, but they haven't. He says they haven't changed much. But it's got a beautiful patina on it. It's a brass one. It's all brass.
What is the hose material?
Yeah, some sort. I'm not sure what it is. Just some sort of like wrapping on it. So it's not. It's more meant for like gripping. So it's kind of laid over the top of the brass. So anyway, I thought it was really cool. Now, like when this type of stuff comes into my shop, since I don't have any experience with it selling, it's a guessing game.
Yeah.
So
that's like you got to find just the right customer for something like that.
Exactly right.
Otherwise, you're stuck with it, whether you paid 50, 100, or 150 for it.
Correct.
So, given that backdrop, this makes it real tricky. So I'm going to think in terms of what it might be able to sell for to that particular customer, which I know you would have had to, place your bid accordingly because you might get stuck with it.
Yep.
So I think maybe if you found the right fireman type, or maybe fireman's wife or husband or whatever the case may be, I'm going to say that you might be able to sell it for, 200 tops. So I'm going to say you didn't pay more than 100. So I'm going to go with 100 and 200.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right, Vanna, next.
Okay, this is a Nikon Nikkor lens.
Okay, so this one, high-end Nikon lens. This is a micro lens. It's 105. It's got a fixed aperture, in like brand new condition. And if you know anything about nicer camera equipment, sometimes the lenses can be more expensive than the body of the camera itself. And so, with that in mind, what would you do?
Does it have image stabilization?
Yes. Hold on one second, you guys.
Fixed. Okay, so it's...
Do you know anything about cameras?
I do. What's the f-stop on it? Do you know? Does it say on the box?
Blue.
Did we lose him?
No, he's muted for a minute.
I'm trying to look at the box here, and if it was clear, I'd be able to see what I'm looking for. It's the f-stop rating that'll be listed on the lens itself, on the ring. Oh, I can't hear him.
Yeah, he's muted right now.
He's muted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because he's talking on the phone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did say IS, so I'm going to assume that it really is IS because that makes a big difference in the quality of the lens. And IS means that it's image stabilized, so that the micro movement of our hands as you're, trying to get the shot, especially with zoom, it's even more of an effect when you're dealing with, a lens that's already fixed. It's a fixed lens, but you're still zoomed at 105 millimeter. So does it show? Because this makes a big difference in the price. Does it show what the f-stop is on the outside of the lens?
The f-stop is 2.8 fixed.
Okay, that's not excellent, but it's pretty decent for a zoom lens. So I'm going to say this lens might be able to sell for, I'm going to say 500. Okay. So you paid 250. So 250 and 500.
Okay. Okay. What are we on, 5 now, Sista?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We are.
Limited edition 18-inch Caddy wheels. Cadillac wheels and tires. Well, Cadillac wheels, good. I think the tires are Pirelli. But these are a little bit older, but a lot of that old caddy stuff is really, really popular. So what I mean by old, like some of the 80s stuff is really popular, and this is probably going to be in that era. So 80s, maybe 90s. So
It obviously includes the tires, so the tires are pretty good condition.
Tires are in excellent shape.
So that means they're fairly new, right?
Yep.
Because that right there is times 4. It's 200 plus the rims. It can be at least 75 a piece times 4 is 150. Is 300. So 3 and 2 is 500. So I'm going to say sell for 500.
Okay.
And you paid 250. Well, actually, I'm going to change that. You paid. I'm going to bump that up. You had to give up 275 for the buy, and you'll sell for 500.
I think that's a good guess, and I don't know anything about those.
So buy 275, sell for 500. Yeah, especially if those tires are in really good shape. I know somebody would definitely want that package.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for a caddy, and that's the kind of a product they already know about.
Yeah, those are expensive tires.
Yeah, because I'm giving the tires a minimum of $50 a piece, which is like really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, to buy them new, particularly since he said they're Pirellis, you're probably looking at about 90 a tire, brand new.
There you go.
Roughly, little give or take there. So my numbers were 275 buy and 500 on the sell.
Okay. All right. So we're on to Jerk's junk here. Okay.
Indeed we are.
This is nice. I covet that.
Oh,
So,
and it's available for purchase at Jerk's Bike Shop.
It is, and I've seen him down there. He carries these things. This is the nice one too. This is a really nice one. And this is biking specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my guess would be I would probably pay 150 for that, and I would sell it for 375.
Is that for how would you use this GPS device? By riding a bicycle?
One, so it's gonna have heart rate in it. It's gonna have it should have maps that are like bike trails and so forth, and these do all sorts of stuff. And so they gear. I mean, you could use this for other stuff, but they build this one for cyclers specifically. So road or bound. So we got a nice big screen on it, but it's not too big to where it's like, carrying a iPad on your bike or anything. So.
Now, am I supposed to do anything with this one?
Yeah, I guess. I didn't know what this was. So.
So we're just both doing our own thing. Okay.
This is the beginning of Jerk's / Kirk's junk.
Wow.
That never gets old, by the way.
And it is new, right? It's new?
Yeah.
Yes, his junk is new. Mm-hmm.
The junk is new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that new meaning really brand new, right? Okay. Would the warranty be included with it?
Sure, Garmin. Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
They've got a great warranty.
I'm going to say, do I have to bid more than you?
No, whatever you want.
Okay. I'm going to say 125 on the buy.
Okay.
And 300 on the, and 275 on the sell.
Okay.
So 125, 275.
All right. Let's go back to that first item there, Rhonda.
Mm-hmm. The generator.
I'll generate you.
Generate this.
Okay. All right. You guessed 250, and you hit that one on the head. I bought it for 250.
Good job.
500. You can find these things for $500, but I think you shorted yourself about $100. You can get about $600 out of them pretty easy. However, you did exactly what you're supposed to do on that one. You bought it for the right price and you doubled your money on it. So well done.
Yeah.
So all right, number two.
Number 2, the bike.
Okay, so this is kind of a weird deal. I bought this one more for myself. Okay. You guessed $400, which I bought it for $400.
Good job.
If it would have come into my store cold turkey, I wouldn't have purchased it for that much. But since I was buying it for me, I paid a little bit more. But this bike is easily worth $7 to $8. So very good job.
Wow, you're right on the money so far. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Wow, he's giving Christine and Lance a run for their money.
Yeah, you might be in on the championship, man.
Wow.
All right.
This is unreal.
Okay.
Here's the tricky one.
This one you laid an egg on a little bit. But everybody lays an egg, okay? So that's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I purchased this for $25. I was very conservative about what I did because I don't know how long it's going to take to sell something like this. It could sit in my store for a year or 2 or 3. So just like you were saying, you got to put it in front of the right person and you can name your price, right? So
Right.
you said 100 and sell it for buy it for 100, sell it for 200, which I don't think I think is completely possible. I mean I think that could you get $200 out of it if you get in front of the right person, maybe. But I bought it for $25, and I would probably accept $100 out of it. So, and I might be underselling it. I don't know. I just don't know a lot about them. So.
That's a nice clean 75 for you.
Yeah. So yeah. So, all right. Number.
I want to before we go further on that. How does that item number 3 compare to what you did versus what I did? Because technically, I met the rules. I bid more than you did.
I purchased it for $25.
And I bid more than that.
Yeah, you
so
bid
I'm okay there, right?
Yeah, you bid
Just that you think maybe I overdid it because
no, and it's not that you did anything wrong on that. I mean, the person would have taken that in a heartbeat, and you probably could double your money on it. But my fear is when I take in something like that, I ask myself, how long is it going to be here, and how much could I possibly sell for? So it's kind of a guessing.
Yeah.
And so I tend to go more conservative with that type of stuff for fear that it's going to be here for longer than I wanted to. So,
which I sort of spoke to, but I'm not as familiar with the numbers as you are, of course.
Yep.
You learn by experience.
You know what? I take that back. You didn't lay an egg on that one. It's just a little different than what I would have done. You could have completely have been okay with that. Okay, with 100.
I like your strategy better actually on that one.
So anyway, all right. Land. Okay, so on this one, you guessed 200 and selling it for 500. I like what you purchased it for. I did purchase it for $200, but it is an $800 lens all day long. So
wow.
Even through a pawn shop.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And with the right person, you might be able to beat another $100 out of it. So.
400%. That's really good.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good one. That's a good one. So those are the type of deals you keep coming back the next day. You know what I'm saying? You love them. So. Okay. Last one, yo.
Last one, yo. Here it is.
Caddy rims.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, the rims, yeah. So, again, I take the same philosophy on this type of stuff. Now, here's the reason why. Not that rims and tires are a rare thing, but in order to sell these things, first the customer's got to like them, then it's got to fit their car, and then they got to have the money for them, okay? Which makes it a little bit more difficult to resell. These are car-specific ones. They're going to fit on a Caddy or maybe some other GM, but you're not going to fit them on a bunch of different things like a universal rim would be. So even though they might go in front of the right person, they might go for $700 or $800. Finding that person sometimes poses a challenge. So I'm more conservative on these ones. You guessed $275,
right?
And to sell them for $500. I think you probably could sell them for $500. But I think they're more like a $300 or $400 sale if you want to sell them in a timely fashion. And I did them for $150.
Wow.
Yeah,
How do you know when you throw a number at somebody that comes into your store that, they're not just going to, and of course I know you think about these things and you actually specialize in them, but it's like real risky because you could like totally torque them off and off they go.
Yeah, that's a good question because that is part of the craft. The craft is making sure you educate people at the same time that you're dealing with them, okay? And a lot of times they're not educated in how you do things. And so instead, I mean, there are a lot of cantankerous pawn shop owners who just say, $150, take it or leave it if you don't. But I like to educate people more than that. And so it's all in the, here's my rationale for doing this and so forth. So, yeah, that's a good question. So that's all part of the craft. I get very, very few people in here that stomp away mad or unhappy or unsatisfied. So
you really specialize in how to persuade people while educating them.
This is
so that they feel comfortable with, okay, I made about as good of a deal as I could.
Yeah, this is and at the same time you're helping them out and not taking them to the cleaners. You have a right to make a profit. They have a right to get some money for their item, and as long as you meet in the middle somewhere, that's where the pawn bliss lies right there. So
bliss.
And one more thing is like if they wanted to buy the product back, pretend that somebody wanted to buy that Nikon lens back, or how does that work out? They want their product back.
For $200, it would cost them $240 to get it out. So
it's sort of like a, what do you call that? Like a
no.
I missed it.
Yeah. So it'd be $240 for them to get out, or $40 if they wanted to extend it. So, all right.
And that's called a collateral loan, right?
That is called a collateral loan. There's some people just want to sell their stuff. They don't want to come back, so they know they're not going to come back. So.
Okay, so you know exactly which case you're dealing with. Okay.
Yeah, I usually do. So, all right. Show us the junk.
And there it is.
Yeah, no.
There it is. We lost him again.
I mean, I'm just looking for the loan.
And what was your guess on this, Kevin?
So, I mean,
mine was 125 and sell at 275.
Yeah.
And Ryan was buy 150, 375.
You want me to come in here?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I can't use them, dude. Yeah, they're tough. So.
I mean, I got 2 other skis in the back. They're just.
You can bring them.
That's the fun part about being live.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can read those.
Fun to see them in action.
On and in action. That's right.
Things that I don't really want.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not for me, man. So.
Okay.
And apparently it's not for him.
All right.
All right, man. Yep.
I appreciate it.
Sorry, you guys.
No,
All right. So, did you have the info on this one, Rhonda?
Actually, Kevin does. He's got it lined up, but I can tell you that you're both a little under on this one.
I'm under.
You were 150 buy and sell for 375, and I was buy at 125, sell at 275.
Okay. Okay. So what's the? I mean, I know this Edge 810 I think is about $500.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Right on the money. It's 500.
Yeah. So.
And that's all the information I could get out of him because what's going on with him this morning. But 500 is the retail on that.
Kevin, I think you did. I think you did swimmingly on this. So.
Very well.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Well done. I like your strategy in talking it through, and because sometimes that's what you got to do in your mind, man. I mean, you got to talk this thing through, and no matter how long you've been in this business, if you think you like know everything, then that's when you're gonna get burnt, man. I mean, it's a constant education, and that's why this Pawn or Die is fun, because it's like I like it because it keeps my skills honed in, and then it's actually kind of cool to see people that have never had any kind of exposure to this industry before do it, and they have fun, we have fun. It's good time. So. Well, you might be invited back for our championship. We'll see. That's kind of in the works. Kind of getting things rolling with that. And thanks for joining us today, dude. I appreciate you coming, taking the time out of your day, and good luck going back to work, man. So,
Thanks for inviting me, and Rhonda and Ryan, really enjoyed it.
yes. Well,
Good day, everybody.
we'll have you back. We'll have you back sometime, brother.
Okie dokie.
All right,
Absolutely.
man. Okay, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Next week, look at you, dude. Next week we've got Jerk's Corner. We don't know who's going to be on that yet. It's always a surprise, so join us then. 2 weeks, we got Pawn Boys again. Please join us. Come out and have a good time with us. And have a good week. We'll see you.
Peace out.